Okay, hey guys, welcome to the final day of the visual identity design series or tutorial series. Now, not to waste our time much, there are going to be scenes in this particular tutorial video because we won't be able to just run everything at once. So there are going to be scenes to help this video to be short, straight to the point, and easy for us to understand. So now, in today's tutorial, just like I promised you guys, is basically all about the presentation. We're going to be creating brand materials we're going to be using for the presentation, which means you're going to be creating brand materials we're going to be using for mockups, and we're going to use them for the presentation. So now, as we have here, you can see that we've already mapped up the necessary things we might need. We might need to create as part of the brand materials. Now, it all depends on your client you're working for. Okay, if you're working for a client that requires more brand materials, it is very good that you try to widen to widen the broad line to know which materials or brand materials your client is necessarily going to need. Some might go ahead to need a ball pen or all these customized badges, ID cards, and the rest of them for their staff and so on. So, but for the sake of this course, at least you're going to just get the idea of what it means to get brand materials for your client. So this is basically what we're just going to be designing for our presentation. So we're going to be creating a business card design for our client. We're going to be creating a letterhead design for our client. We're going to be creating a simple billboard designs and simple roll-up banner design. Okay, so we're just going to create these four things, or seeing this one is saying billboard designs, we might just create one or two. But the thing is, it's going to be maybe one design, but maybe positioned differently or used differently or in different cases. So we already have our mockups, but first of all, we have to create the materials first for this particular tutorial. So without further ado, let's jump right into the session. Okay, now to start off with our brand design or with creating our brand documents, brand materials, we're going to first of all create the business card. Now, normally, what I love about CorelDRAW is they have, once you go to this area, this aspect here, they have some dimensions like pre-installed dimensions, default dimensions. They have A4, A3, A5. So since we want to design a business card, we're just going to choose business card, and we have the dimension here. Now, one thing you need to note about business card is each countries or various countries have their dimensions. Now, what will work for UK might not work for US. Okay, sometimes it's good you do the research, go online, just ask Google. It's as simple as that. Ask Google what is the UK business card dimension, maybe in pixels, in millimeters, or thereabout, and you will see the answer. Then you can also ask, depending on the kind of client you're working for. Okay, but let's just work with this particular one, which is in inches, and we have 3.5 by 2 inches business card. So we're just going to create a box. Okay, we're going to create a box 3.5 by 2 inches. So we align with P. Now the next thing we're going to do is you're going to come in here. Okay, we're going to come to this our work we did the previous day, and we're going to just copy this stuff right here because we need the logo and we need the color. Okay, we're going to just paste it. So we're going to minimize a bit. So now we are going to power clip them in here. So we're going to do the same, just power clip this in here too, so that we can be able to work successfully. So now we are going to create the first, that is the front side of the business card. So we're just going to create another layer here. Sorry, I'm using the word. This is supposed to be things for Photoshop and Illustrator. So now, I don't know, let's make this this front. We could use a gradient color for the front. So that means we're going to be combining the logo, this red logo, and the normal background color together to create our gradient that we're going to use for this place. So let's create our gradients, for example. So now let's go, we select on the box, then we remove the outline. Okay, once you remove the outline, we go over to our gradient. We go to your interactive fill tool, or you can just press your G on your keyboard. And let's put the gradient this way. Now we've applied the gradient. So the next thing you're going to do now is to select, we come here, okay, then we use the picker tool. Then we collect this particular color of the logo to be applied here. Then we go over to this one. Okay, we go over to this one. Then we select the picker tool and then choose the background. Okay, Now this is looking okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we are just going to adjust the level so that I want the darker aspect to be more dominating. So we're just going to okay. I think this is okay. So now we've been able to do this. Okay, we've been able to do this. So the next thing now is, do we need to put in anything fanciful? One thing about business card is it's good to just make a business card as simple as possible. Okay, it's good to make a business card very, very simple. It makes it look more professional, like you are really there for business. You don't have to put in those doodles and unnecessary elements in it, and just like the brief said, they are modern, they are sophisticated, and we all know the target audience they are relating to. So it's not a time to play around. So you see why the brief is very, very needed, or it's very, very good. You understand the client brief, because it's going to aid you on not just the logo design alone, but every other brand materials that is going to follow, that's going to come up. So now we already have our business card background. So let's duplicate the logo. Okay, let's quickly drag this a bit close. Now we don't want to use the logo itself, as in we don't want to use the logo, the one we already have here. So we have to duplicate it so that we can have a second one we can always use for our other stuff. So we just bring it in. Okay, we just bring it in, but okay, it's behind this, so we just tap on this background and use shift page down. Now let's expand this a little, but in this case I don't want to use the title. I want to use only the logo mark alone. So I'm going to just delete this and leave it with just the logo mark alone. But I'm not just going to place the logo mark here. Okay, I'm not going to place the logo mark here. I'll try to give it a bit of bleeding. Okay, I don't want to put it just, I want to give it bleeding. Let me just put it at the middle like this, something like this. Okay, I don't want to put in the whole logo. I want to give it a bit of bleeding. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out my typography. Now, one thing you need to note about the font we used is it's an all caps long font. It's an all caps font. That means it doesn't have lower cases. Okay, so that means we have to look for a supporting typography or a supporting font that could help us in the cases of lower cases. Because now in this case, this is basically an all caps font. Okay. Now we need a supporting font that could help us in things like phone numbers, address, or email address. We don't want to write the email in all caps. You can't write the website in all caps, okay? So we want a situation whereby we could use small, we could use a lowercase. So in this case, I decided to go with Poppins medium bold. I decided to go with Poppins bold. That could give us that could give us access to lowercase. So we are going to write the name of the owner of the business, or maybe the director. So let's just put something like Zeus. Zeus. Is my Zeus correct at all? Okay, Zeus. Okay. Let's look for one of those gods, Zeus Hercules. So yes, let's use the name like this. So Zeus Hercules. So we can put it here. This name basically does not exist anyway, but considering the fact that we are dealing with something that relates to the Greek, so that's why I decided to use a name that could resonate with the Greek, demographic. Let me put it that way. So now we're just going to go under and write maybe store manager. But now let's give this a bit of difference. Okay, let's give it a bit of difference. Let's give it not bold. We're going to be using something more like let's use normal. So we are going to reduce the size. Okay, I think this is better. Then we are now going to reduce the kerning to give it a bit of. Okay, I think this is now good. So now, in other news, okay, I think this is okay. So the next thing we are going to do now is, okay, let's make this all caps. So we are just going to use our, let's not seem like we just abandoned our major typography. So let's use this. Let's use Hercules. So we increase the kerning, the leading a bit. So now we have done that. We've been able to put in the name of the person. So So now we need to put in phone numbers, we need to put in email address, and possibly website. All these things are going to be they're not existing. They are not websites that are existing, or they are not websites that are, they are not existing, but we're just going to formulate it based on the name of the brand we are working with. So we are still dealing in the front page, the front side of the business card. So we're just going to, let's bring this in. Okay, we don't need to go too far. We just reduce the kerning, and then after reducing the kerning, we are also going to reduce the weight of the font. So we are going to use same regular. So let's just quickly put in any phone number. We can use plus. Let's use +1 3344556677. Okay, now the next thing is email address. So we are going to use something like info at what's the name of the epicspartans.com. Now the next thing is that website, which is going to be www.epicspartans.com. Now we've been able to do that, so we are just going to reduce it. But this time around, we are going to let's give it a bit of alignment. Let's make sure the alignment is proper. So okay, now we have done that part. So we are going to just go back into our power clip, and then we are going to make sure it's aligned. But we are going to right align this to give it. We are going to right align to give it this stuff here to make it sublime, to make it okay. Sorry about that. I have a bit of cold. I'm sorry for that, guys. Maybe that's my voice too. I came down with a bit of cat and headache, so I'm sorry, guys. So anyway, let's go on. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to bring in our icons. Okay, we want to bring in icons to depict phone number, email address, and then website. So I'm going to go into my folder where I have my flat icons. So let me go into my folder where I have my flat icons. So I'm going to search for call. I already have my call here. So I'm going to just bring it in. Then I click on OK. Here I have my call. So let me zoom out so I can easily bring these things in. So the next one I'm going to bring in is one thing I'm going to bring in is my email. I'm going to bring in email. So now my email is here. Okay, let's work with this one. Then the next thing is website. So let's work with a website. So we are going to bring in a website. Okay. Should this work? I don't know. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want this, but I want to remove this other part. So I'm just going to ungroup. So I'm going to keep on grouping. So let me ungroup this because they are icons. And then I'm just going to, I use Ctrl K to delete this. So I use Ctrl K to delete this. So let me quickly remove this. Now I have my website icon. I group. So all of these things are just for us to prepare what? Our brand icon here. Okay, so now I have this with us. Okay, let me bring in a better icon, a better email icon. There was one business card I did of recent. So let me quickly bring in this icon, this email icon. Let me quickly bring in this email icon here. So I'm just going to bring it in here. Good. So now I have a good email icon. So I'm just going to color all these things white. Now I'm going to reduce them properly so that they can fit into what I want to use it for. Now you can see that sometimes people think business card design is something that is very easy to do, but until they realize that business card is just as crucial to the job as every other thing, because you don't joke with everything in the you can't joke with anything in your design. Every aspect of it. Business card might look simple from the eye, but you can see that we are already 12 minutes and we are still working on our business card just to make sure we get something that the client can actually work with. So now we have our email, so let's put it here. Let's increase the kerning a bit. Sorry, the leading or the leading. English is somehow. So we put it here. So we bring this to here because this is for websites. So we reduce it a bit. Now, if you are working, like I said one time in whether the day 1 or the day 2, I said something about being precise. If I was working with a client, everything I'm doing here would be very, very precise. It will be extremely precise because I can't afford to make any silly mistake. I can't afford to make any silly mistake. So here I have this. Okay, now I've grouped them. So let me center align them properly with this one so that it could work well. Now we have it aligned. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to just drag it and bring it to this edge. So it will be properly aligned with what we have above. So now we've quickly, so one way or the other, we've quickly done a business card for our client. So now you are done with the front part. Yeah, it's as simple. Business card does not need to tell much. The least we could do is let's just add noise to this background to give it a bit of texture. If at all you want to even do anything to the background, let's just put maybe a bit of texture to it, and I think that is okay. Now we are done with the back. Now it's time to work on the front. So we could just copy this, okay, create a new page and paste. Now we have the back. Now we have to just remove all of these things. Now this is now where we need the full stuff in here. We could just put it at the middle. You don't need to stress yourself. Then we make this solid color, which is going to just be only the color of this. Just make it a solid color. We don't even need to make it anything more than what we already have. So now we could come here and copy one of these. This is one of my most favorite brand patterns. So we bring it here. We could just paste it. Okay, let me bring it to the middle. Then we take it down a bit and let's see what we're able to get. I think this is cool, I guess. You can use this. Okay, so let's just leave it this way. Maybe we could give it a bit of transparency. Okay, everything we are selecting is too much, so let's just select the ones we want to transparent. Then we give it a bit of transparency. Let's say 50. Okay, 50 is too low. Let's say 70. No. Okay, what we are going to do is let's make it outline. Let's make it an outline. So we're just going to make it just the outline only. Let's see if that is going to work. We're going to make it just the outline. Let's increase it a bit to maybe 5. No, let's say 4 or 3. I think this is better. I think this is better. Okay, let's bring it up a bit. So this is basically how you could just create a simple business card design. Okay, this is how you could create a simple business card design. 60, another 60 here. Another 60 here. Now we have been able to do that. So yeah, and we are done with our business card. We don't need to make it a lot of fanciful or make it too fanciful. So we've done our business card. So the next thing is just to export. Okay, so as you're exporting, I'll see you guys. So as you're exporting, we just have to export, and Now the next slide is going to be when the work has been exported, and we will now start working on our, on the billboards and the rest of them. Okay, so we have finished up with our business card. The next thing is to go straight to our letterhead, and we're going to create a very simple letterhead design. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to create a new page. Then we are going to choose one of the presets here. I would have gone with A4, but I don't want to go with A4. I would prefer to go with letter. Okay, let me go with letter, whatever. So now we are going to create our board first. Let me call it our power clip layer first. So we have 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to create a box of 8.5 by 11 inches. 8.5 by 11 inches. So we align to the center. Now I've already copied the necessary materials we need. So I'm just going to power clip it inside. So now I've power clipped it inside. Next thing, I'm going to go into my power clip and I'm going to bring this. Now we're going to create another layer here, which is going to serve as our background. Now we've created our layer. Then we're going to we'll leave it white. We're going to color it white. After all, we want our letterhead to be professionally looking. So we create a box here. Okay. Now we've created this box. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stylishly curve this box. So all I need to do is highlight the box, come to this tool here, then I click on it, then click Ctrl Q, then I'm going to convert it, start curving it from here. So let me convert it from here. No. I'm going to convert it from here. Then I'm going to also convert from here. Let me do something a bit fanciful. Not too stylish, but just fanciful enough to be different in a way. So I'm just going to create this. Now this is where our logo is going to be. So I'm going to give it the normal base color, which is this. So I think to give it a bit of more this, I'm just going to drag it down a bit. Then I'm going to duplicate our logo, then bring it in somewhere here. Then take it to the front, shift page up. Then maybe do it this way. I think I'm going to just drag this more. Or we could use the curve to make here a bit curved. So we're just going to use here to work on this so that it can serve the purpose very well. So now we've done that. So now we're just going to leave that away. So the next thing we are going to do is, normally all these things have dimensions. So when you're working for a real client, you have to be very, very specific and do your proper research. So the next thing we are going to do is we're just going to create a little bit of text, duplicate. We're just going to put dates. Maybe all these things that normally carry dates, like don't worry, you'll see what I'm doing right now. Okay, this is what I did. So let's increase the weight a little. So now let's use bold, or we could use semi-bold. Okay, semi-bold is okay. So we're just going to bring this in here and give it color black. Let's take this to the back. Okay, so we're going to take this up a bit. We're going to take this up a bit. Now, as usual, this is how a stuff is. We bring in the name of our the CEO or the storekeeper, who is also the CEO of thereabout. So now we could just duplicate. We could create something here. Okay, you see what I did? I dragged this our text here. Okay, so let me zoom in. So now there's something I want to create here. I want to create a sort of mini signature. So I'm just going to expand this a bit, then bring this here, then use the initials. Let's say let's use H. Let's use H. So now we have use H. Let's center align it and bring it somewhere to the center. Then we increase a little. Then we go over to our font and then choose a font that is a script font. We choose a script font. So let's look for a script font to use. Any script font at all. We are not being precise here. We just want something. Any script font at all can do the job for us. We are not being specific about. I just want to give us an idea of what I'm trying to do. So any script font could work it out. This is okay. We don't need to be specific. I just want you to get the point of what I'm trying to do. So now we have created this. We can center align it better. No, let's leave it the way it is. So now where are we now going to put in these details here? Now we're going to just create a simple box down here, possibly something that we're going to use as the gradient. Okay, we're going to use as gradient. We're just going to create the box here. So instead of us going ahead to start creating a new gradient, we could just come here, copy this background, come over to our stuff here, paste the background. Then now the background is highlighted. That means the gradient is already there. So we just drag it into here, and we have our gradient. So now we could use the gradient to house these details. We use the gradient to house these details. Details of the brand. Somewhere here. So okay, let's make sure it's aligned to the dates. Okay, so we go in, we make sure it's also aligned here. Okay, I think this is good. Now let's change the font weight a bit to, if this is regular, let's change to semi-bold to give it a bit of okay, I think that is done, and we have our letterhead. So we're just going to write gibberish in here. We're just going to write gibberish in here. As usual, those Lore Ipsum nonsense that we normally see everywhere. We're just going to write something so that when we are applying the mockup, it will look like, yes, maybe something was written there. So you don't need to even put in anything reasonable. Just type any gibberish you want to type. Just type in any gibberish you want to type in, and just do what you want to do. So we're just going to briefly type in all the gibberish we can afford to type in here, and possibly just get done with it. So now we are typing the bullshit. So let's increase the penning a bit. Yeah, now we have a sample of a letterhead, a simple letterhead. So now we have a sample of a little letterhead. So now all you can just do is either export. I think this is getting, so let's just give it like it has its own area aspect of the business card. Let's give it just that. Let's give it just that. Let's give it that. That means you're going to reduce this a bit. If you're going to work like this, you have to reduce it a bit. It doesn't occupy too much and become too obvious. I think this is better. So and we have what? A sample of a letterhead. I already have a letterhead. So the next thing we are going to be working on is now billboards. We are going to be working on Billboard. A simple billboard. The design we are going to use for Billboard is also what we're going to use for the roll-up banner. So let's quickly go into that. Okay, guys. here I've been able to create a simple billboard design. Now, one thing you need to note about billboard designs, they need to be simple, straightforward, and they need to just drive the right information and be done with it, because people that are mostly going to view your billboard are either drivers, people who are riding or who are driving their cars, so they wouldn't have much time to really get to see all the gibberish you've written in your billboard. So you need your billboard to be able to pass across an information at an instant, because all people that are going to be viewing your billboard, they have latest, or let's say they need to be able to grab the message of your billboard design in the next, at least in 5 seconds. Okay, so that's why I wrote here, become the next god, purchase ancient Greek artifacts. Simple. So that means if they want to know more, they just need to go to the website. Okay, then you go over to this side, you have your logo simply placed, at least for an identity sake. Then you have these little things to drive their attention also. Now, one thing here is the principles of graphic design is at play. We have hierarchy playing here. We have the use of image, we have balance, and we have contrast. We also have highlights. We have things like proximity also working here. So you need to make sure that most of these principles of graphic design plays a very crucial, simple, straightforward game role in your design, especially for a billboard that people don't really have the time to stand and look and be willing to grab the full information in that billboard. So they need to be able to get it within seconds. Okay, so now we have the landscape design. So over here we have our portrait design, also our billboard portrait. Yes, I said I was going to go with a roll-up banner, but I discovered that no, let's just go with a billboard, both portrait and landscape. So now I've been able to export these files as PNG, like normal pictures or images, into my system. So, and I headed over to Photoshop. Okay, I headed over to Photoshop and I was able to carry out a mock-up design. So here we have that of the portrait, we have that of the landscape here. Now this portrait was gotten from Nigerian mockups. You can see that the location they used here was somewhere in Lekki, Lagos State, Nigeria. So I was able to use this mockup, and which was gotten from Nigerian mockups. They have good mockups that relate well with the Nigerian society, and it serves a very good purpose. So we've been able to do this, and I did this on Photoshop. So now this will be part of our presentation to the client, where you'll be putting it among the documents that you present to the client. Now, also we are going to go over here, and we are going to look at the mockup we use for our letterhead. We use letterhead, business card, the back and the front and the back, and also for the letterhead, making it a bit of a corporate, branding design, that kind of thing. So here we have it. Then we also went further to our portrait mockup. Here we have our portrait mockup. Okay, here we have our portrait mockup. Now this is more like a subway or a train station or an underground alley. Now imagine this being placed really on an underground alley. Be your own warrior. People will be willing. Now you can see how I was able to be straightforward, because usually this is usually a crowded area, environment in a busy city or thereabout. So they need to be straightforward. The design had to be straightforward to convey the real information that is needed for the viewer's attention. Okay, for the viewer's attention, and now we're able to give them the right information by using be your own warrior. Now it's more like telling them that when they purchase artifacts from us, like epic Spartans are like, when you purchase ancient Greek artifacts from us, you ended up becoming your own warrior. And if you look closely, you can see that we have a shield, we have a sword, we have some things relating to to the Greek mythology or the Greek people. We have a spear here that is a bit transparent, so you can see that a lot of things are playing a role here. So you can see that it just plays the website, so if viewers can easily just go to the website and see more about them and purchase from there and go about their various ways. So now lastly, we have this billboard we did here. We now have it in a full, this is more like a rounded billboard, a circular billboard, but here we now have it plain, telling people that look, become the next god. Okay, so you can see how this plays very well. Imagine this on the roadside and you're just passing by, you would be intrigued to actually look at what this is actually talking about, or what information the brand wants to pass across to you. You see how intriguing it is, straight to the point, no much unnecessary detail. So all these things are going to be added in the presentation phase. So now I think this has brought us to the end. This has brought us to the end of these 3 days. This has brought us to the end of the 3 days visual identity design tutorial series. I'll be hosting a new one probably next month, which is April or thereabouts. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But just so to encourage me, please make sure to subscribe on my YouTube channel, as this helps us to grow, and please like this video so that more people can come across this video and learn from it just the way you've learned from it, and also it helps the channel to grow. So now this brings us to the end. Now the presentation on how to present a document to your client, a visual identity document to your client, will be made available in the link of the description of this video. So watch out to see how all of these things plays a part in when you're now presenting the mock-up or the mock-up aspect to your client and the whole document itself. So until the next video, stay safe and stay healthy. Peace out.